Men's eights. Last race here at the World Rowing Championships 2013, considered the blue ribbon event, this men's eights at this event. Over in lane one, France. They've certainly been making moves throughout this event, coming in via the repechage. But they've had a good season so far. They got bronze at Eton. This is Poland in lane two, silver medalists at Eton, silver medalists at the European Championships in Seville earlier this year. In lane three, Great Britain, gold medalists at Eton and Sydney. Slightly different combination here. They've moved Will Satch up to the stroke seat, known to some of his friends as the Red Brick. Just flexing his back there. Germany there in lane four. Silver medalists at Lucerne, but current European champions from this year's event in Seville. Over to lane five, United States of America. Gold at Lucerne, and goodness me, they came out of nowhere. Nobody saw that coming, but it was quite the final at the Lucerne World Cup. Over in lane six, the Netherlands. Bronze medalists at Lucerne and bronze medalists at the European Championships in Seville. So certainly some high caliber men's eights racing to be had in the next 10 minutes. What's your take on this, Martin?
It's going to be unbelievable. Britain, Germany. I think the US could be in there. A lot of people are saying Poland. We look at the Germans there. They have really impressed me paddling this week. Not the greatest of season, but they look slick, they look sharp. And I think with Rolf Holtmeier, their coach, you can see Johansson there with the shades on, just cameras going away from him. He was at stroke earlier in the season, but Holtmeier's moving around. Phelan Hill, the cox of the British eight.
Just saw the Red Brick there fixing his sunglasses. Also just now hearing that a yellow card's been awarded, given to Poland for throwing a water bottle. All fine now as we get underway.
It's going to be absolutely crucial here. The first 250 metres. Who's going to be in front? Will it be Britain? Will it be Germany? There we see Christoph Wilke, the Olympic champion, back in the stroke seat for Germany. And that's a great start, the Germans. They've got a little march on Britain. 2-3 men already.
The move is off the line, though. France over on the far side. They've got a foot up on Germany. Lightning start from them, led by Julien Desprez in the stroke seat.
Unbelievable start in this eights race, and I mean, we knew it was going to be fast and furious from the first stroke. And here are the French. They've blasted out of the blocks with the Olympic champions, Germany. Such a class crew, this French boat. They could be up there in the hunt.
Yeah, I think the French will be there in the first 500, but not at the finish. The British have got to stay cool, they've got to stay calm, because the Germans have got a crucial canvas lead. There's Christoph Wilke again. Beautiful stroke behind him in the 7 seat. He's got Richard Schmidt. That's a new lineup.
And not mixing it at this point are the Americans. They're half a length down. They've got to get themselves in it. Surprise winners in Lucerne. Not keeping up with the pace, but here are the British, the big men from GB.
They're moving up the field. They're drawing level with Germany. This is amazing to see as Will Satch sets up the rhythm coming up to the 500. Who's going to cross it in the lead? Great Britain lead the way through the 500. 1:20.44, a second and a half quicker than the semis.
That is an outstanding second 250 from the British, and I think at the moment it's their race to lose. The Germans have not been led when they've won gold medals at this point in the race, and the British are going out, they're edging forward.
And they've moved the Olympic gold medalist, the dual Olympic gold medalist, Triggs Hodge, from out of the stroke seat. They put Satch in there. Martin, you think it's paying off for them?
It is. They've got 4 pairs down the boat. Yeah, you see they've got Satch and Nash. They're a pair. You've got Hodge and Sabihi. They've been a pair this year. They're moving back. Peter Reid and Alex Gregory. They're a pair. And then Dan Ritchie and T-Ran Tom Ransley. They're in a pair. Jürgen Grobler has really paid off. But what a head-to-head, Jules. The British have stopped moving on the Germans.
But we look at the next 3 boats. This fight for bronze is between 3 crews. France, Poland, and the US of A. Who's going to get there? They're desperately clawing back the Americans now. We saw them not matching the pace in the first quarter, but they are clawing their way back down that German boat now. They're only half a length down, but but look at the British go.
It's taken them some time to get back in this race. The Americans, not the quickest in the first 500. They were 6th in the first 500, but they're coming up into 3rd place now. So that second 500 has been good to them, but they've still got a long way to go. Coming up to the 1,000 now, and leading by a 1/3 of a length is Great Britain. 2:43 through there, a second and a half quicker than the heats. Germany starting to drop back on GB now.
And this morning at the juice bar, the British were waiting 15-20 minutes for the bus. They did look really cool. They did look relaxed. There's the Americans. They had a fantastic 3rd quarter in Lucerne. They'll need that here to get up into the medals.
Tom Pezek, they're stroking. You've got Zach, the coxswain, desperately screaming at them to get them back into the silver medal position. They're currently in bronze. They are pushing the rest of the field away. I mean, how fast is this race going? You cannot miss a beat in this men's 8 race. They are halfway down the Germans now. The Germans are halfway down the Brits, and I think it's Poland who are halfway up the Americans. Anything could happen at this point.
I think the Americans are pushing the Germans on. You just saw they started to move a little quicker than the British, but I think the British, to my mind, they look so cool and smooth, don't they? A lot of time forward. Phelan Hill done so much work on the front end. He told me this morning he was feeling absolutely confident about the project since Lucerne, since they went up to altitude at Silveretta, since Jürgen Grobler worked his magic on the British 8.
This is absolutely sensational. The British 8 leading the way through the 3rd 500, half a length up on that German 8 with 3 of the Olympic champions from their men's 4. Great to see coming up to 1,500. Going to be interesting to see how the splits have changed, because Great Britain are still extending out 3/4 of a length now over Germany and extending to 2.5 seconds from 1.7 at the 1,000.
And the Brits are such a class crew. I mean, we have been waiting for this performance all year. They are absolutely having it all over this German boat at the moment. The Olympic champions, I mean, they've absolutely just been giving it to them this whole race. They're almost a length up on them. This is unbelievable. But when you think of the calibre of the athletes in this British boat, we have been waiting to see this performance from them, and they have peaked at the right time.
Phelan Hill's going to be as cool as you like. He knows they've got to win that gold medal. I think the British have got the most margin they have, and Germany are coming back. Looking to my right, there's still 300 metres to go. Germany are going to come back on the British. This race is not dead and buried yet.
It's absolutely not. They've seen those red boys, and goodness me, have they lifted. They've closed it down to half a length that GB have.
And the Americans so desperately trying to hold off the Poles. Look at the fast finishing Poles on the far side. They want to get on the podium. Can the Americans hold them off?
But
this is the thing at the front. 1/3 of a length in it. GB are just about fending off Germany to the line. It's going to come down to the wire. 50 metres to go, and it's almost only a canvas. This could come down to the surge across the line. They're stroke for stroke. Here comes the finishing line. I think GB are just about going to hold it. Only a canvas, and GB take the gold medal. New world champions in 2013 for the men's 8. Silver goes to Germany, and the United States take the bronze medal.
Phelan Hill, he's hugging his stroke man, Will Satch there. Absolutely brilliant. They won that race through their first half performance. Really cool through the 3rd quarter. But the German sprint at the finish, that was all class. The British were hanging on, hanging on. Heart was in my mouth there. What a great race the Germans rode. They went out quick. They had the sprints at the end, but they just couldn't take advantage. And the Americans, well, I think that's a good season for them and their young coach, Luke McGee.
It was the middle 1,000 for the British, I think, that did it. Germany got out in front in the first 500, but that middle 1,000 solidified GB's lead by just enough to fend off any final charge from the Germans.
Yeah, 0.54 of a second separating those two crews. It was so tight, but the British in control for so much of that race. And as we said, such a class group of athletes, and it's so great to see them put that performance together when it matters at the World Championships.
First gold medal for Britain in the 8s in the World Championship ever, I think, which is quite a thing for a strong rowing nation. There we see the start. The Germans got the jump on the British, and well, they had to stay cool, didn't they? But their speed from 200 to 500 was absolutely sensational, and there we see them just coming up in the first quarter, moving through the Germans.
And great to see the Americans get up for that bronze. I mean, they were out in 6th position for a big chunk of that first 500 metres, certainly, but boy, did they turn it on in the second half of the race to get themselves the bronze.
Absolutely right. As that middle 1,000 as well for the Americans that got them up into the bronze medal position. They were in 6th in the first 500, But goodness me, they ploughed through the field in that middle thousand.
And the British are hanging on. Look at the Germans there. Sheer effort, sheer grit. That's what this sport of rowing's all about. Andy Hodge, the blonde man at the top of your picture. Mo Sabihi, the young Muslim with the beard, doing all they can to hang on to that crucial small advantage over Germany. And the German cox, Martin Sauer, urging his men on. You're nearly there, boys. You're nearly there. And then we waited for the line. We didn't know the verdict. It was going to be oh so close. And Dan Ritchie in the bow. Well, Hodgie, yeah, big screen. Phelan Hill out of his seat. Stand up properly, Phelan, next time. But it doesn't matter. You're a world champion. Hug him, Will Satch. Joy at the end for the British.
What an exciting finish there to the final of the men's 8s. We go now back to the medal podium, but quickly let's look at the times here. Absolutely nothing to choose between Great Britain and Germany. 0.54 of a second. And then back to the United States, 3.5 seconds.